Good morning from beautiful Vancouver, BC. Okay, so I had a different video planned for today, but it got delayed a little bit, so I thought instead of just skipping an upload day, we do a quick Q&A, because we haven't done one of those in a really long time, actually. And they're really fun to do because it's one of the few ways that I get to really interact with you guys. So, Q&A time. First, I gotta find a spot that I can actually sit and do this. These benches are a bit moist, but it'll do. So I asked you guys whether I should just skip the upload day or do a Q&A on Twitter. If you don't follow me on Twitter or on Instagram, you should follow me on there. Usually I give kind of a behind the scenes look at my shoots and what I'm doing, what's going on in my life. So if you're interested in that, follow me on Twitter and on Instagram. But so let's answer a few of those questions that you guys asked on Twitter, because it seemed to be the general consensus to do the Q&A instead of just skipping the upload day. Let's start off with a nice little warm-up. Zul Aziz, he asked, what kind of camera mode do I normally use when I'm vlogging? Is it manual mode? Yeah, I basically use everything manual except for autofocus. And white balance, actually, I also have on auto usually, just because the situation's changing so much so quickly that I don't usually have a chance to change the white balance all the time. Also, if you're curious, I usually vlog on the EOS R right now, mostly because of this little flip LCD screen on the side here. I just really enjoy having that screen and being able to see the frame, frame it up really nicely and make sure that each angle actually looks good instead of just guessing and hoping that it's good. But really, that's probably the only reason I'm using the EOS R, that and the autofocus. Rich asked, whatever happened to the podcast idea? That is still happening. It's just been a long time coming. We've set a whole bunch of dates like, oh, we're gonna start it this day, and then it just passes and we're just so busy. So we've actually gotten some help from one of my friends, and he's gonna be kind of pushing it forwards, getting all the back end stuff ready so that we can start up the podcast with Peter. It'll be coming soon. Jyrki Sorjonen, Finnish guy, asked, any plans for bigger video projects this year, something outside your normal YouTube content? Definitely, I'm working on that one documentary with the Creative North guys, and there's some other stuff that I really want to work on this year. Really kind of make some higher quality stuff. With YouTube, you don't always have the time or the resources to make super high quality stuff. You kind of just have to make very story focused driven stuff or tutorial, this kind of stuff. So I'd really love to work with a crew and work on something a little bit higher quality. Yeah, we'll see. TK Johnson asked, do I ever see myself making a narrative film? That's a good question. Before I was never really into narrative films, or I love watching narrative films, but not making them so much. But now, as my career has progressed, yeah, I could see that being an option. I just love movies in general, so I think it'd be just like a fun experience, even if the movie turned out really bad. Then Reina asked, did Peter fix the door yet in the office? If you guys didn't see Peter's video, he apparently busted up our door in the office. I haven't been home for like the last week. I've been here in Vancouver with my family. But apparently he did fix it. I'm curious how well he fixed it though. That's the question. And speaking of Peter, Chris asked, how has your relationship with Peter benefited your channel and vice versa? This is a kind of an interesting question because most people always just think that Peter with the bigger channel has kind of just like carried me along and all my subscribers are from Peter. A lot of people think like that, I think, but they don't see like this partnership that we have a lot of times. So when we go out and travel, we'll help each other film. So I film a lot of B-roll of him that I then use in my videos because I just like having really cinematic content, or I'll film the drone shots and then we just share all of our footage, and that way it takes way less time to film at really nice spots. We can make the most of our time. But I think the biggest thing that we kind of benefit off each other is just like our friendship, as cheesy as that sounds. Yeah, YouTube world is really weird, and like there's not too many people that you can talk to about the YouTube world and what's going on. So it's really nice having that person that you know, if your channel is not doing so well, or you need some advice on something, you actually can ask somebody who's doing the exact same stuff. So that kind of friendship is actually, I think, the biggest thing that we benefit from each other. Juanma asks, on a scale of 1 to Winterfell, how cold were your fingers today while holding a camera? This extreme cold alert is killing me. It's actually pretty mild here in Vancouver. I'm missing, apparently it's super, super cold in Toronto. But on a scale of 1 to Winterfell, how cold were my hands when I was doing that hyperlapse video? They were like spending 10 hours on the wall. Yeah, my hands were frozen. I was wearing actually these gloves. They're kind of like photography gloves, so they're not super thick. My hands were so cold. Aziz asked, how do you get such beautiful smooth colors on your vlogs in the office? Is that your Sony camera thing or your LUTs? Okay, so I actually haven't been using my Sony for a little bit. I'm planning on, again, switching back to the Sony and seeing, do I like it more now? Can I get used to not having the flip LCD screen? Because I am kind of getting tired of some things on the EOS R, which I can make a video about. But mostly I think it's the Canon color science. It's a good starting point, and then using my LUTs and just color correcting, color grading so that it looks good. If you're interested, check out my LUTs down below. Andre asked, what's my favorite camera settings for shooting tutorials? So I almost always shoot wide open. Like right now, f2.8, that says wide open as this lens goes. Pretty much everything is manual settings. I shoot at 24 frames per second, 50 shutter speed, all that basic stuff essentially. Kyle asked, what's the best advice for shooting handheld without any stabilization? It's actually to make your camera heavier. So either with like a shoulder rig or something to make your camera heavier. The lighter your camera is, the worse handheld is gonna look. It's gonna have that little micro jitter. When you have a big cinema camera, it has a lot of weight to it. So it has this really nice smooth look to it, even when you're handheld. So it's not jittering, but you're still getting that nice handheld look. So weight is actually your answer. Dan asks, how thoroughly planned are your vlogs, tutorials, videos before filming them? Do you plan them right down to the B-roll and extra footage, i.e. riding the one wheel as intro, outro, etc.? Okay, so the way that I plan all of my videos is I have essentially like kind of a script, the things that I want to communicate across in my videos. But I don't plan any of the B-roll. I don't plan any specific shots. I kind of just come up with things that I want to say. That's what I have in my notes for my video before I start filming. And then as I'm about to start filming, I kind of just think like, oh, what could I do today to make it more interesting? Or what parts of my day can I weave this story or this thing that I want to talk about? So that's how I plan my videos, really. For YouTube world especially, you want to plan to be efficient, but then you also kind of have to go with the flow and just improv as things happen in your normal day-to-day life. Chrissy asks, what got you started on YouTube? What made you decide it wasn't too late to start a channel? What made you feel like you had something new, unique to offer? Okay, I definitely struggled with this myself also. I spent a long time, months, thinking about, should I start a YouTube channel? And I was actually trying to find somebody else that I could help run a YouTube channel. So start a channel with somebody else. I didn't want to be the face of a channel. I think that's the thing that scared me most. I don't think I'm the most entertaining person by any means, but I did feel like I had a lot to offer. I feel like I had experienced a lot in my filmmaking career and that I could offer a lot of value to a lot of people about color grading, how to film things, and that kind of just took off. Once I got over the whole talking to the camera thing, got used to that whole bit, I actually really started to enjoy making these YouTube videos, and I always thought that YouTube was kind of going to be a side thing. I didn't think it was going to be my main thing, but yeah, one thing led to another, and here I am. But it is definitely not too late, not even close. I still think that YouTube, this whole land of people creating content, is just in the infancy stage. So do not think for a second that it's too late to start a YouTube channel. And also, I don't think anybody thinks their life is so interesting and that's why you should start a YouTube channel. I think it's all about storytelling, providing value, and entertaining in whatever your way of entertaining is. Soham asked, how do I sort through a massive amount of footage that I film? For YouTube, I actually don't film a ton of extra footage because I've planned and then I'm kind of editing in my head as I'm filming. I don't film a lot of extra stuff. Pretty much everything I film goes into a video. That's just the way I've learned to streamline my videos. Now, it's a totally different thing when you're filming a wedding or something like that, where you're filming a whole bunch of stuff and then you got to cut it down to, you know, a couple minutes. For me, I basically just put all the footage in a timeline and I just sorted through it really quickly and then started editing. That's it. Zachary asked, I actually like this question a lot. If you don't know what your niche is, should you create content until you find it? 100%. Nobody knows what their niche is. You kind of know what you're interested in, but that doesn't really develop until much further in your career. So if you're just starting out, just make anything and everything. And I think it's actually good to try all sorts of filmmaking. Even if you know that you're really interested in, let's say, music videos, try a whole bunch of different stuff, because A, you might realize that you actually like something else a lot more, and then B, you're gonna learn a ton through those experiences. So just experiment. Don't worry about just trying to find your niche right away. This one's really interesting. 60-second boost asked, as a YouTuber, do you ever feel used? I don't really know what you meant by this. I don't feel used, but I do feel sometimes underappreciated. I don't think anybody understands how much work goes into these videos that we as YouTube content creators make. I myself definitely did not have the respect for other YouTubers until I started doing this YouTube thing. And so yeah, I don't feel used. I'm loving life. I love making this content, but sometimes I don't think people appreciate it as much as they maybe should, because we're making completely free content that anybody can watch. Yeah, you can't really beat that. Canon system or Sony system? This one's really interesting. I think right now the Canons are better suited for this kind of filmmaking where you're filming yourself, YouTube land. I think Canon just has better color science, better autofocus, flip LCD screen, this kind of stuff. I think it's better for YouTube filmmaking where you have to film yourself. But Sony's, I think, are better for pretty much anything else, at least in my opinion. There's definitely some, you know, bonuses to having a Canon versus Sony, but I think Sony's are just way more spec'd out, and I think Canon really needs to catch up, especially with specs. They're just being way too conservative with their cameras, I think, and they're gonna start losing. I think they've already lost a lot of market share, especially in the video world. Photography world, I think they're still booming, but the video world, they really need to step it up. Lauren asks, would you say it's good to make a YouTube channel even if it's just to show as part of a portfolio to potential employers or clients? 100%. I think Vimeo used to be the place to kind of have a portfolio, but I think nowadays it's just better to put it on YouTube, because you also have that option of making more consistent content and then possibly even making money from that. So yeah, I would definitely say put videos on YouTube. Even if just a few people see your videos, comment, give you feedback, that's a really great thing. So 100% it's worth posting your videos on YouTube. Even if you don't think they're the best, just start posting them. Purple asks, Nikon Z7 VI thoughts review. I am really interested now that I don't know if you guys heard, but apparently you can get RAW out of those cameras now. And then with the Atomos Ninja 5, which I just got sent, you can do ProRes RAW. So I'm really excited to try it out. I'm trying to get my hands on a Nikon so I can test it out. Yeah, I think it's really awesome that they're pushing that side, and I hope other Canon and Sony, I hope the other camera manufacturers are taking notes. And then finally, the straight pipes question, what's the largest set you've worked on? Want me to get you on an even bigger set? I actually know this guy. I actually haven't been on any like massive sets. We've had like a good crew of maybe like 20 or something like that. But my dream is to get on a real legit Hollywood set and just observe. I just want to see what the DP's doing, how they're lighting things, what's the whole process of it. I really want to just observe the best of the best making films. I think that would be super interesting. I think I'm gonna cut this Q&A here because I've dried out what used to be a damp bench. I assume now my jeans are damp. All right, I guess that's it for this video. Like I said, if you want, go follow me on Twitter, on Instagram. Also, I've been missing the live streams. If you guys want to see more live streams, comment down below. Yeah, I'd like to do some more. I just haven't gotten around to it because I've been traveling way too much recently. Can't wait to get back home. I'm gonna go play with my kid now. Bye guys.